Hey everyone. So I've been struggling to try to figure out exactly what I want to do with this class. I'm going to have you start reading a book next week, and I'll go over that a little bit more towards the end of the video. But I want to go over your satire projects because I just want to formally end the satire unit. We're going to do it this week for sure, where you're going to do the project. Next week, it's just going to depend on how far you get with it, but I need you to work on this project this week. Otherwise, I will not give you another week to do it. I need to see some evidence that some of you are, at least, hopefully all of you, but at least some of you are already working on this project this week. So I'm going to go over it with you. It's also posted online. You're going to pick one of these projects. You don't have to do all three. Y'all aren't too good with instructions sometimes, I'm not gonna lie. I just want you to pick one. Okay, so your first option is to draw a political cartoon about a current event or topic. All you artists should have fun with this. I want you to make the drawing as detailed as possible. If you can't draw people, stick figures are fine. Just make sure there are details on the stick figures. And then, so you can call something out. Like you could call Donald Trump out on something. You could call out Joe Biden on something, stuff like that. You could talk about Bernie Sanders because he just dropped out of the race, stuff like that. Anything in current politics. You can talk about the coronavirus. You could talk about school, actually. There's a lot of political cartoons about school and how you're feeling about having to be online and stuff like that. You can draw a political cartoon about that. Okay, and for that, I then want you to write what you are making a satire of. If you just draw the cartoon and I don't totally know what it is, then I can't give you as much credit if I already know what you drew and why you think it's a satire and what the details mean to you. That will allow me to give you more credit for it. Okay, for this option, you will either have to draw it on your computer or you'll have to be able to take a picture and send it to me. Either one is fine, but if you choose to do number one, you do need to be able to do that. Okay, and then for number two, you could write a satirical article like the Onion articles that I gave you from the first week. So that could be on a current political topic. Please write 2 paragraphs that are at least 6 sentences long. I'm going to grade you on the completion of this article, so if you end up having to write more than 6 sentences, just know, or 6 sentences per paragraph, that is all right. I am going to grade you on the completion of your article. Okay, and then number 3 is you could write a script for something like Last Week Tonight or Late Night with Seth Meyers. Those are both satirical TV shows. They're all on YouTube. I linked a couple of them in resources for this week. It should also be under week 3, and so that you can watch them. I think they're pretty funny. I think you'll like them, and so I'd want you to write a script for John Oliver or Seth Meyers on your own opinions. And so make sure there's 12 lines of dialogue. So that's like 12 sentences. And if you think about dialogue for skits and plays, like think about this as if you're writing a play. So in American Lit, we're reading A Raisin in the Sun, and it looks like this. Like someone has a line, and then someone else has another line, and someone else has another line. And so that's how I would want you to write this skit. And again, 12 sentences. And I gave you an example of the script there as well. Okay, so that's it for the satire. I'm going to link some Newsella articles that I think might be interesting to look at. You don't have to use those articles for your topic. You can explore Newsella, you can explore anything really. You can go on the New York Times, you can go on the Huffington Post, you can watch news videos and then write a script based on whatever you find there. So there's multiple ways you can do research for this. Like for me, I when I'm thinking about the news, I like watching the news a little bit more than reading it a lot of the time. Newsella is a good website though if you want to read it. Okay. And then what we're going to be doing going forward is we're going to be reading The Glass Castle, which is a memoir. And I'm going to end up giving you projects around memoirs, and I'm going to end up giving you, after this week, a long-term project where you start writing about your own life. The Glass Castle is a book that I read my second year of high school, and I really enjoyed it. I was in American literature that year, and I hated pretty much every book that we read except The Glass Castle. Looking back at some of those books, I think I appreciate them more now than I did then, but I definitely didn't like them at the time. So just so you all know, your English teacher didn't always like reading certain things either, and didn't always like English class. But yeah, I think it'll be a good book for us to read, and I think it'll help give me structure going forward. I think in some ways, at least for me, the other classes I've been teaching have been going a little smoother than composition. And part of that is because I've been making videos of me reading the same book every week. And so I want to do that for you all too. And I think The Glass Castle is a good book for that. All right, so let me know if you have questions. And again, please start this project this week. If I don't have proof that you've started this project this week, I will just move on. I think last quarter, a little birdie told me that people thought I was moving too fast. But what was happening in class was I would see people either on their phones or not doing the work, and so the people who did do the work were done and the people who didn't were on their phones, and so I just kept moving on and leaving those people behind because they were choosing not to do the work. And so I want to make sure that you stay caught up and everything like that, and since I'm not seeing you one-on-one, I do want to know how you're doing with the work. So please fill out the questions this week that I gave you. I might do that to replace the weekly assignment because I feel like I've already given you a lot, especially since I also want you to write that email to me too, because you all need to learn how to write emails. Okay, I know this video has been a little bit all over the place. I tried to cover a bunch of different stuff. So please let me know if you have questions. My office hours are still 1 to 3. Okay, I'll see y'all later.